Okay. Welcome everybody, Heart to Heart episode number 11. And today I'm so happy to have you, Gabby. I know Gabby from couple of years, like 4 years? More than
four
4 years,
years.
I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, Gabby, it's your call. So, if you'd like to say something about you to the audience, and we will go slowly.
Yeah. Thank you very much, first of all, for having me. And we haven't talked for a while, so I'm really excited about
Yeah,
that. Actually, seeing you again, seeing your smile. And yeah, we met through ecology, actually,
yeah.
where we did some training. And, when I look back now all the years, we always talk about how we grow, how life changes. And this is an interesting concept because how often do we think, oh, I do this or I do that when I'm there?
Mm,
And this
true.
is something which hit me the other day because, we started out studying, then we now having our businesses, and we always work really, really hard. And I love what I'm doing, but what I find the problem we often have is that we start pushing so much that we forget to take time for ourselves. We forget what's important. We forget to prioritize proper. We just push, 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 push. And I mean, I'm doing a lot with communication, with self-talk. And then I realized this year my self-talk had become this, oh no, you can't take the Saturday off. Let's do this, and you should do that for the business. And it was all these thoughts came flashing in, almost like I still was in work. I
Mm.
was still an employee. And I had in my head my manager with to-do lists and the whole lot. And I had to sit back and going like, Gabby, you talk to people about self-talk, but I got so engrossed into doing that I suddenly realized, hold on, I have to sit back and re-examine my own self-talk. And it had changed a lot from the original self-talk, which I worked a lot on. Like, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, all this, that's gone. But now suddenly, this new self-talk is here. And I think this is really important. We need to keep time to ourselves where we do nothing and re-examine our self-talk.
True, true. So this is so important because our phone took our time already. Like whenever we are free, we started scrolling up and down, and we don't know where we are heading to, where we do want to go, what we. So it just happened the last few days that I told myself, wait, I don't scroll much, but the thing is what I'm looking for, like any particular information and whatever doing, scrolling up and down and reels especially, it's so draining, Gabby. It's really draining. And you are nowhere, like thoughtless. And how one person, human being, can be thoughtless? Like really, I started feeling that do I need to do I need to go ahead with this all and the trains so called? Uh or let me stop here. So I decided to stop here. So whatever they're doing, like posting and all, I do photography or painting or something write up, but I just do and just come back to, normal. I'm keeping my phone somewhere else because it's pushing us so much that if not phone, then how do we offer ourselves something that is more relevant for our mind and body and soul? So I think I would like to ask you to throw some light on this that if we are not doing anything, then should we feel bad or we can just spare a good time with ourselves without doing nothing? Because doing nothing, it's a big challenge to accept and proceed. So such a beautiful practice.
Yeah. And you know what, Maitri? It's so important because very often when I get clients in who are just tired, close to burnout, I actually ask them, when have you given yourself permission to do absolutely nothing? And they go like, oh no, no, on Friday evening I have a yoga class from 7 to 8 and on Saturday. And I said, no, 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 no. Do nothing. Just sit. Maybe we have beautiful weather at the moment. Sit outside in the garden on a bench with a cup of tea, looking out, doing nothing. And they looked at me like I can't. It's like I have three hats. I think we got so much into this, hustle culture. You know, we, and I think it has a lot to do with our upbringing that our self-worth is now
Mhm.
attached to how
Yeah.
much we're doing. Our self-worth is attached to doing, how much we do, letting other people see what we do, what we achieve. I had a friend the other day saying to me, you know what? I want just to be for a week. I don't want anyone next week to ask me what my life purpose is. Can I not just be for a week? And I really felt that.
Mm.
Can I not just sit back and be? And that's the point. I mean, I gave the yoga example. There's nothing wrong with yoga or meditation. On the opposite. It's beautiful practices. But especially now in the West, I know you in India, it's probably a bit different, but especially in the West, it has become another thing you do, another class you attend.
I'm not
Right?
doing.
Because the whole lifestyle all day is very far removed from the
Mm.
philosophy and the ideas of yoga. So it's just another hour. And I have a friend who is a yoga teacher, and she's retiring now because she says, I don't see the point anymore of doing it,
Mm.
giving classes. She said the people coming in, running in, really stressed, coming from work, just being in traffic, roll out a map, do their exercises, then they feel a bit better for an hour because they're calming down, and then and they jump up. They don't even have a time anymore to talk to somebody after the class. They run out again because they have to be back in 20 minutes to put the dinner on for the family. So it's almost, you know what I'm saying? It's almost counterproductive because the whole life it has become hustle, 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 quick, fast.
So, as a coach, we can bring some changes. I mean, are we able to bring some changes to the people? Because we are handling all matured brains. They know that's their habit. They're very well acquainted their habits since childhood and all. I'm not saying that changing mindset, but to uh, ask them to allow their feelings about the present, being present, and stop that monkey mind that do this, do that. And if you're not doing this, you are nowhere because other people are doing. So immediate the comparison will come and we are nowhere, right? So it's very difficult. We can apply on ourselves personally. I'm doing this, but if I ask anyone that let us not do anything, or maybe let us stay here silent for 5 minutes, it would be a big challenge. So,
Yeah.
uh,
And I think
anything,
you
yeah.
you hit it on the nail. Yeah. It's a change of habit. So let's take the yogurt example again. It's a habit not to do it between work and cooking dinner. A
Hmm,
quick session in between, just to take. I did the yoga session, but to allow ourselves to take the time, the real
yeah,
time for the yoga. You know,
yeah.
maybe even say to the family, you know what, tonight is yoga night on Thursdays. I don't rush home to cook.
Hmm,
You know, maybe somebody can else can cook. Maybe we're just having rolls today with some cold cuts or whatever it is, right? Just to change the habits, how we approach everything, I think is really, really important. And this brings me to another question, mate, because we're both women and you have children. Is it sometimes also the feeling of duty? I cannot ask my teenage daughter to cook, or I can ask my husband to cook. So I can do my yoga, take the time I need for it, come home. We're changing about habits. So is it sometimes also a sense of duty? I cannot ask for help. I have to do all this and I have to do it.
Nailed it. Now you nailed it. It's a common problem, I think so, that you are supposed to do everything because you are a mom and you can't ask for anything because, and if we added like perfect thing that everything has to be perfect, kind of, I found many people having OCD, but they are not very aware of these things and they're not allowing others to do the same thing. So that is a separate discussion we can do another podcast with this. But yeah, genuinely, you doing yoga or meditation, your nerves should be soothing. You can't do like rushing that, this is the rule that I need to do yoga, tick to-do list like this. But yeah, this is a genuine problem. Then to whom do I ask that take the responsibility and at least I can have one day free time so that I can process.
And it's
It's a
not even a
genuine.
full day, even just one evening
Yeah,
or 3 hours.
yeah.
Rather than just, I think you nailed it when you said it's also a question of our daily habits and what habits we got into. I had a really interesting conversation with a group of ladies this week about our creativity. Even if I look at my own life, and I'm guilty as well, you mentioned the scrolling earlier. I'm guilty of that as well, that I in the evening said, I'm too tired now to do anything. And then I look at the phone or I watch a program on Netflix or something like that. And I was sitting back and I was thinking, when I was younger, I came home from work and I did crocheting, I did knitting, I did silk
Yeah.
painting, I played the guitar. All my Christmas presents were literally handmade over the year for everyone. I didn't like to just go in and buy something unless somebody really wanted something specific I couldn't make. But otherwise, they would get right a handmade present, something made, macrame, all that stuff. I would go dancing and really, really creative. Writing, I did stand up, and what has changed? Because I still have the same amount of time. Time hasn't gone shorter. So my behaviors and my habits have changed. And it's the default. I'm too tired now to start and do the crocheting. I watch something on Netflix. So
Is it
consuming things
things? Yeah.
have actually exchanged my creativity. So I don't create anymore, I consume.
Hmm. But consuming also, it's a part of things that you can't recall. After one day, we just forgetting that what we watched day before yesterday or yesterday. I think it is somehow related to cognitive decline also. Even if you refocus that what I had day before yesterday lunch, it's very difficult to recall. So it's kind of a mechanical things we are more into, and we are not allowing our brain to think or go into deeper zone. And that happened many times with me that I had to take time that, oh, day before yesterday, what was the dinner? But it was easy. It was easy. And as you're saying that creativity, it was also easy. The same person, how we used to manage time and distribution of the time and so many things we used to do. But right now, it's very hard to even read a half page paragraph, concentrate, and that grasping power is not there. It's very concerning. And really, we are discussing so important point. Very few can, really willing to discuss about this. Everybody's talking about speed. But again, we are coming back to the same point. where to go and why we are in a hurry. Right? So yeah,
You, you know, it's a really good point because when every day feels the same, we
yeah,
cannot remember. Because if you ask me, what did I had for dinner on the 1st of January 2020, I don't know. But I remember I was with my father on a holiday and a dinner arrived and he looked at it and he got tears in the eyes and said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "This is exactly the dinner your mom and I had on the 15th of June, 1956." And I said, "How do you remember that date?" He said it was our wedding day. So there was emotions attached to the memory. And this is why we remember things. We have emotions attached to the memory. So if we
mm,
have everyday occurrences and they're the same, there's no emotions attached. So looking at TikTok, I have no personal real emotions attached to that. But when I made something in 1980 for my sister and I remember how she liked it, I still remember that Christmas. But I do not remember all the other Christmases where I just bought something in the shop and I gave it to them because it wasn't the same reaction. So you
mm.
remember the emotions, and I think this is where creativity becomes so important.
So as an expert, do you feel that we are going to follow a trends where we are going to lack more emotions, more connections, and more technological upgradations? And then what about our cognitive decline? And what about our emotional connections with the people? Like, I'm not saying as we are connected, though we are connected through Zoom, but we are connected somehow heart to heart, and we are talking here heart to heart. Maybe we are not talking every day, but we are connected somehow. And we build and rebuild that connection again and again and again through conversation. So when conversation or discussion is not there, probably how to establish that connection, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's two things actually here. First of all, when we talk about creativity, if you think about it, anything we create, we also do something physical,
mm,
right? And they have found in research now that, for example, dancers very rarely, some do, but very rarely get dementia or Alzheimer's. And the reason is because when they keep dancing until old age, the cognitive work of coordinating your body and balance and then remembering certain steps actually prevents dementia. So if we paint or physically write or whatever we create, whatever we do, even going walking where we physically are active, it actually helps our brain in old age
mm,
not to decline. It's really, really important. And conversations can be exactly that as well, because conversations can be really creative. And maybe this is what we need for connection. If we
yeah,
go for a walk with a friend and we have a really, really good conversation. Have you ever met a couple who's married for 30 years and then they go out for dinner and they have absolutely nothing to say to each other anymore?
yeah, I know many.
It happened to me. I went out with a friend for dinner one night and we had forgotten it was Valentine's Day. And suddenly we realized that everybody was listening to our conversation because all this couple who went for Valentine's Day, they just sat there in silence and ate. They had nothing to say to each other anymore. But the thing is, you can live with one person in the house and feel completely lonely because there's no connection anymore.
Yeah.
Loneliness, we always think, is all the poor single people. Well, but they may have far more connections and are not lonely. Only
Mm,
because you're married doesn't mean you're not lonely. And
yeah,
that's why, because communication is so important,
important.
you know, and it comes back to habits and pushing and running and
Mm.
things and going to work, coming home. They're like two ships in the night
Mm.
who cross each other, but there's no connection anymore. And then you have maybe an hour or two in the evening where you could talk and really see what's going on for the other person, have a real conversation, and instead everybody stares into the phone or the telly or whatever is there on electronics.
So much to explain, so much to, because things are happening in this way that um how to place this. Uh there I when I was a child, there used to be some kind of connection, uh connections, like mainly concentrating on the respect, showing regards to each other, and the perfect time to get together for many people there. Here in India it's still there because people love to talk physically love to they go to each other's place and having dinner, and but still it is started already declining because the culture is getting changed, and most probably not much more is there to uh, that getting together and singing and playing guitar, whatever the music, uh, it was regular basis. It used to happen that whenever, whatever the reason doesn't matter, whatever the occasion doesn't matter, but people are getting together and nobody know each other, but started singing and playing guitar. And I think these gatherings I'm not sure it is still there for some areas, or I don't know, but this is also a very huge topic to discuss, that everybody is became so busy. But my question is, to some extent, if we are working 7, 8 hours, we can understand. But it is 24 hours a day. So another 4, 5 hours, what we are doing that we feel lonely. Another important topic to discuss.
But it's what you said in the really start again. It's down back to habits because we still have 24 hours a day, available to us. And let's say we sleep seven,
Mm,
and you know what? When I was a kid, everybody worked 8 hours a day as well. It's not that they were off. Everybody worked. But
yeah.
the difference again, still, what do we do with the time which we actually do have for ourselves? And I see it even now in families, now in younger families. When we were kids, school was done, homework was done. We went and saw our friends, and that's it. Nowadays, even the kids in a young age have already a schedule all week through, you know, this group and that group and then the ballet group on Saturday. They have no free time anymore. I feel sorry for the kids. They're already like a CEO of a company at 7, right? Running from one thing to the other, shoved there by the parents, to a point where the parents now schedule play dates. And their friends come in, so they have a 2 hour play date once a week. But again, that's another tick box. Like it's another on the calendar. That's what we do today. Today's play day. It's like, and I'm looking at this going like, I'm sorry for these kids. No wonder they're getting tired and want to, when they give out about the Gen Z now, that they're really not wanting to work. I'm not surprised they're tired already by the time they're 18. They already finished the CEO position with the calendar full for the last 18 years. It's madness.
True. Yeah. I mean, another, it's very difficult thing to handle WhatsApp group for the kids. Like teachers are sending homeworks, one kid has to have that WhatsApp group, maybe two, three, four groups, one for music, one for playgroup, one for this and that and that. So yeah, it's troublesome. Like it's, yeah, definitely WhatsApp and technology made us easy. That's so we are here talking. But parallelly, the loneliness also has increased a lot because if you are 20, doesn't matter what's your age, and doesn't matter you are if you are covered with so many qualities, but uh, being with the people like surrounded by 100 people, you are still feeling lonely because you don't know what to discuss, how to start. Right. So there is always a communication problem. I think I have seen many kids, they are coming to me. Uh, they just, every time they're just waiting that I should start something so that they can only say, hmm. And it will take time to open up. So, yeah, that's another thing that it's related to maybe loneliness, or
Yeah.
I don't know how to express this.
That's almost again another podcast because I do a lot with communication.
Yeah,
As I said,
we
and it
will.
starts with our self-talk and then it goes all the way of how do we talk? How can we build friendships? Um, how do we talk in the corporate world? All the way to how to build a workshop, like when you work and how what you do. And it's really
Mm,
important because people don't know how to do it anymore. Well, that's a generalization. A lot of people still do. But I used to work in schools where this teenagers literally said to me, I'm afraid to speak to strangers. And I said, how did you find your work experience job? Or I'm doing it with my uncle because I was too afraid to go
mm,
to other companies and ask for it. And I have a lot of friends who are still working, employed, and I get younger colleagues in and they're supposed to train them in. And I said, they can't look into your eyes anymore. You talk to them, they look down at their feet.
mm,
It's a real problem. So they're not used to build connections anymore. And this is really scary because I live in Ireland and people in Ireland, they love to socialize. They love going out. They love talking to strangers. I mean, I came back yesterday on the bus and I was waiting for the bus. And by the time I was halfway home, the lady who approached me at the bus stop, I knew her life story. Right? It's in Ireland, it's very, very simple and easy.
beautiful.
So if
Yeah.
the Irish now generation is starting to have a problem to
Mm,
communicate and are afraid of talking to strangers, this is a real sign that something is happening we have
mm,
to be really aware of because
mm,
what are we doing which brings them to that point? Because it wasn't an issue here until even the last generation. So what's happening right now which makes them so almost socially awkward?
mm,
And it's not their fault, they just haven't learned to communicate somewhere. And I think it's probably because it's this consumption. Everything is consumption. You consume social media, you sit in school, you listen to your teacher, then you shift to the after school activities, which are other classes where you listen to people. So they're always listening and are bombarded with information all the time, but they don't have a chance to actually talk themselves, be creative themselves, explore things. It seems that those times are becoming smaller, smaller, smaller. And if they do, then only with their own age group. So I think this is where the disconnect is starting. And I'm looking into it because it's a theory of me, of myself. I don't have any data. I just noticed from talking to people this is happening.
mm.
So something is causing it.
There are many topics we need to do again podcast. One, two, three, four. Series one, two, three. I'm getting,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Um, yeah, I have seen the kids group when they're talking something apart from any topic which has been told to discuss. It's kind of a silence, and then immediately they will shift to technology because technology is very common for them, common topic. Uh, but realize that there is no as such emotional connection between them because they will start like, do you know this? I know this. Do you don't know this? Okay, I know this. Like comparison, and it will take them nowhere. But other than technology, what topics else that they can discuss about? Right. So as you say that bombarding, yes, there is no as such window for them to come back and stay for a while and think, get the clarity about self. It's so revolting sometimes because I'm also, handling many kids. And somehow they're very helpless. Uh, hmm, they're very helpless because they have to compete with the trends. So always they're very alert and but there is no as such connection, deeper connection. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I also find, all this, even I mentioned it here, the different generations. And I think this discussion in general isn't helpful either. I mean, the older generation always had a problem with what the young ones were doing because they're exploring, they come up with new ideas, and
yeah,
you were older, you weren't as flexible to kind of going like, what are they doing now? And we have all experienced it. I'm 60 now. I remember very well my parents saying, "Whoa, what are you listening to? What music is that?" It's always the case. I think they found an inscription somewhere in Egypt where somebody's complaining about the youth. So it was always the case, but it was like the really old ones and the young ones having problems understanding
okay.
each other with certain trends and fashions and whatever.
Oh,
But it wasn't broken down in these small 10-year sections where people are just straight away put into a box.
hmm.
you know, oh, they're millennials, they're like this, Gen X is like this, boomers are like this, and all put into a box. And then it's almost like this division. We not talk to you because, I mean, I remember when I came to Ireland, you came into a pub. All generations were in the pub. There was music playing in the corner. There was a 70-year-old man sitting beside an 18-year-old, and the 18-year-old would learn the instrument from the 70-year-old, and people were talking to each other, and there was a mixture. Everybody was mixing between all the generations. There was no generational talk like we have it nowadays, and that's another one which I think is not really helpful
And
because
I
I
think
learned a
that
lot from older people. I learned a lot when I was young.
yeah, yeah, because when information is flowing from ages of experiences, then only it is going to be a very learning things that I can get the wisdom from the elders. That respect and regards I was talking about, that we used to learn from the seniors, and sometimes they used to talk like this with something new technology and something. But this is compartmentalized, as you were saying, that there it's very, very deep topic. Yeah, and I think this
Yeah,
topic is gonna help many. Yeah. So
yeah.
next podcast we are going to do
Okay,
this.
another one. But it's really deep because I play. Yeah, I have dogs, so my neighbors come out playing with their dog, with my dog, and they're young. They're 18 and the other, well, 19 and 17. I learned so much from them as well.
Yeah,
I learn loads from them, and
yeah,
there's a real exchange between us, and it's wonderful. It's brilliant.
yeah,
So I think it's in general what we really talked about today is humans have still the same needs, right?
yeah,
We need connection, we need friendships, we're looking for love, we're looking for secure group of people around us where we, almost, where we feel secure, we feel somebody has our back if something happens. We still have the same needs. We need downtime, we're craving downtime, um, peace, quiet, contentment. It's still there, creativity, but it seems all our habits, as you said, and our behaviors are geared to walk away from that.
Yeah.
They're bringing us away from that. And that's maybe why we're all missing so much in our lives. That's maybe why, especially in the Western world, depression, anxiety, all those things have gone through the roof because what social conformity tells us, the way we live our lives, is actually bringing us away from what we really need as human beings.
Very concerning. Mm.
And I think it's
Yeah.
just a matter of awareness because if we're aware of it, we don't need to buy into it.
Yeah.
I can switch my phone off every evening for 5 hours. There's nothing
Right.
stopping.
Yeah, many factors actually. I mean, everything is in our hand, but first, as you said, that awareness is required, that what we are used to be, what we are supposed to have, and what we are not having, what we are missing out. That is more important. And for that, definitely creating awareness is the only way. And yeah, so um, I think I would love to ask you that if you want to share any message to the world who are going to listen to you, if there is anything you'd love to share.
I think my message is just step back from the hustle and bustle. Just step back, take a break, take a breath, and just figure out what do I really want from life? What is it really I'm missing? What do I really want? And is what I'm doing currently giving me that? It's like I almost call it a regroup because sometimes we are so busy doing that we forget to reflect. Am I actually still on the right path? Is this actually what I want, or did I just get caught up in the frenzy of this quick moving world? Because we can step back.
Yeah,
So
Gabby. Yeah, sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
please
literally it.
carry on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gabby, I'd like to ask you that many people I have seen personally while, when they're coming to talk to me, they just don't feel like sitting alone or thinking alone. They're not allowing their mind. So, if we are not allowing our mind to think that what we actually need, because they need tick, 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 they're very comfortable with this. They don't need any blank time for them. So this is what hardly matters, that if we offer at least 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that okay, forgot everything and just let me sit with me. But they're scared about this and they don't
It is
feel like, right?
it is
So
scary because we could find something out we don't want to hear. You know, it's honesty and truthfulness. We all love other people to be truthful and honest to us. But sometimes the hardest question is, am I truthful to myself?
Nice.
I'm actually honest. And this is why it's so difficult to self-reflect because it can be scary. The problem is if I don't do it through my life, be truthful to myself and check in every so often and have those moments. What if I find out when I'm 65 that I just spent 65 years of my life climbing the wrong mountain? This is when it hits hard. And what I would suggest if anybody feels okay, I kind of get what Mater and Gabi are saying, am I really still on the right track? I don't know if I should sit down. Don't face it on yourself to yourself. You can talk to Matri, you can talk to me. Just contact us. Because sometimes we need somebody else to give us the space for us to give ourselves permission to talk
Yeah,
about it.
true, true, true. But this is something if we talk about mid 25 to uh, 60, 65, 70 even. Uh, I have seen personally that while doing online, as I'm working online only, so some topics they're very selective, like they would like to discuss. They would like to discuss about the technology. They're very comfortable. It doesn't matter which age, they're very comfortable about the film, Netflix, and duration. They have their own topic, they have their own area. But when these areas are not, they're going to touch, they feel uncomfortable. They don't like to talk, discuss anything apart from that because it has become their habit, regular activity, and they feel they're very comfortable. But when they're not getting those things, like if I'm going to share something that, as I told you, that I travel a lot for photography, and so like sometimes many people like photography, it's something like, what is the big deal here? But every single takes has a story, and we need to explore that. Like, it's very hard to do the photography, Gabby, because you don't know where you are standing, and you're standing on the edges. One step, you need to get that decent take, and you are focusing on what subject is it, flying, is it moving, or something. Uh, but do you think that people are going to, if the community is not there about the photographers, then do you feel that anybody would be interested in talking about photography, nature? I don't think so.
And the question is, does it matter? Because creativity, I think, again, was hijacked by productivity and comparison,
Mhm.
right? It's your creativity, you're creative, you're going there, you take the pictures. It's first of all for you. And then now, and I think this is why creativity is get hijacked because if I'm being creative and I'm just doing for myself, I have to sit back and think, am I selfish? Taking this time out just for myself? Why do I need somebody else to approve
No,
of
no, no.
my
I'm not talking.
creativity? You
No,
know,
no,
no,
I'm.
yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Not you now specifically, but how many people say, "Oh, I can't be creative because, what if nobody buys my picture?"
Yeah.
You know, do they? Just be creative for yourself, first of all. Why do you
Yeah.
think of straight away making a business out of it or getting money
Yeah.
for it? Or what will the critics say? This improvement thing. What will the critics
Mm,
say? And it becomes all about other people, what they think of my creativity. This is not what creativity is
yeah.
for in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to say that there are some topics like which are very regular topic, like Netflix, AI, technology, people, meeting, uh, comparison, conflicts. So very interesting topics these are. But if you'd like to share something which is very, slow process. I mean, we are in a fast pace. So if I try to make it slow, it is not very acceptable, what I was trying to say. It is very old fashioned kind of like you are coming from which planet? It is not applicable right now. So yeah, so slow process are not very acceptable.
Yeah. So too much work.
Too much.
Everything needs to be quick, isn't it? I think it's a matter of finding the right community because if I like slow, you like slow, I'm sure there's more people out there who like it too.
And it is
It,
good for
it's
our
about
brain.
yeah,
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
talking about clients. I'm talking about clients that when you try to make it slow, uh, brains are not ready to accept. Rather let me suffer. Rather let me have anxiety. Rather let me have stress and worries and all. But let me not allow touch this slow process. I'm good enough. So this is very concerning sometimes, which where I feel that why they are not allowing them to be feeling good, which there are abundance opportunities are there where they can get this easily. And you also know, I'm also aware that happiness is free. We don't need to push too much for this. But why we are not having that? Why we are pushing us towards trouble? That trouble is making us good, better.
Yeah. It's almost not a podcast. You started because that's a deep question. And the question is it because I have to take self-responsibility for my actions? Because if I look for a quick fix from somebody, and the coaching world is a bit guilty with that, because when you see the advertisements out there, do my 5-step program and your anxiety will be gone. It's like this, I have this magic wand, and if you follow what I tell you to do, I am here the guru, you will feel better within 2 sessions because I did the five steps.
Gabby, you're so sweet.
Yeah, but I mean, any personal growth takes time because we're talking about changing
Hmm.
mindsets, attitudes, habits, behaviors, and it's not linear. When I start this journey, if a client comes to me, I always say to them, it's not linear. It's not that you start here and then you go like this in a linear way. It looks like this. And it's messy and it takes time. And sometimes I have clients they leave me because they go like, yeah, I need it quicker, and then they come back and said, you were right. I'm 2 years. I'm still at the same point. I distracted myself with a bit of happiness, going on holidays, having a good time, going drinking, but the problem isn't solved because it doesn't go with the 5 steps.
Yeah.
It's messy. It takes time. It needs so much change. And I'm not talking about that they have to sit with me every week for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
But they have to give themselves time to implement st even tools to learn. I usually give people tools, a lot of education so they understand themselves, how the mind works, what they can do themselves. And then some clients maybe at some stage only come back once every 6 months because they worked on it, they figured it out and said, okay, figured it out, thank you very much. But now this one came up.
Hmm.
Okay, let's talk about it, find another tool, then they go off. And it's about practicing it every single day. It's about experience because a lot of our mental illnesses, as they call them, are bad self-talk. Anxiety, you always worst case scenario, what will happen in the future, what if, and then you go down this what if spiral. It takes a long time to get out of this habit. If you do it already for 40 years, to get out of this mindset and this self-talk, it just takes time. There is no magic wand I can if I could I would be a multimillionaire, but nobody can because it's people have to do the work themselves
So
and they have to
true.
experience it.
And three, come to me 3 days. And everybody is talking about let go. Think something new. How to let go. How nobody's talking about how to let go. Don't think about past and future. Yeah. Oh, this is another topic to discuss. Gee,
I
I
haven't met a person yet who has managed not to think about the past or the future. It's natural. It's how our brain works. The question is, how do we think about the past and
yeah.
how do we think about the future? Not let go and don't think about it. It's how do we think about it? Again, our self-talk, right?
So, yeah. Um, Anything you'd like to share for today's podcast, or we can continue for our next one as you feel. It's up to you.
Yeah.
It's,
I had fun. I hope your listeners will have
yeah,
fun.
I had a
Yeah,
lot of fun, and I'm sure people are going to have.
we touched on a lot. There is at least another 10 topics in there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
almost,
yeah.
yeah, because life is complicated, but then it's not.
Of course, it is and it
It's
is not.
yeah, it is complicated because there's so many things coming together at the same time.
Yeah.
But I think if we're honest enough and patient enough to start approaching it and talking about it, it comes all together. It's not all that complicated. It's just we never make the connections that
Hmm.
one influences the other really. And I think this is why when we start talking like this, we go suddenly from, oh my God, they're talking about so many subjects, but it all comes back to the one point. Are you really self-aware?
Hmm.
Are you able to self-regulate? Do you know what you want? Do you know who you are?
Gabby, last one sentence. If I don't want, if I don't want to know, let it be. Let
That
me suffer because the suffering I'm enjoying a lot that people are getting, I'm getting attention because I'm suffering. I'm having medication, whether it's working or not, it requires or not, doesn't matter. But let me suffer. So I would like to do podcast with this topic with you that I don't
this
need
is
any
an
awareness.
yeah, that is an excellent subject. Another one, and you know what? I have to give credit here to two more people you know as well, Alec Wells and
Yeah,
Erica
sure, sure, sure.
Nadu. We had a session the other day, and you know what I said? And I first of all, I was a bit taken aback, but we talked about it, and it's so interesting. And I know your listeners will probably go, "This woman is insane," but have a good think about it. We all feel pain. Feeling pain over certain situations is normal. To suffer is a choice because it's a question again. What do we do with the pain? How do I turn up? What's my self-talk? What's my behavior? What's my attitudes? Because I can feel deep pain without, and you literally said it there, without embracing to suffer for the next 20 years. Very controversial, but very, very true.
We can do. Can we invite Alec also
We can.
so,
I
so that we can have a group podcast about this?
yeah.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, actually, we need to share this information because um, how much we know that people are aware of many things, many topics, but when you're hitting the point, you will get to know that no, there is no awareness. So I think as a coach, we need to create more awareness. It is not there.
Yeah.
From externally, we feel that everybody is going through something and they're very aware of many things, but actually not. No.
Yeah.
So it would be so wonderful if we have a group podcast as you feel. But before that, I would love to do another podcast with so difficult topics that we touched today. Many. So it's up to you
Thank you
what
very much.
topic
I'm up
next.
for it.
So
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
thank you so much for joining. It was really wonderful. And after a long time, what was our best thing that we laughed a lot? Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in a very wonderful zone that it's so good. So, thank you so much, Gabby. And I'm making it stop and I'm coming back.